Hello everybody, Reggie Time here, and in just a moment we're going to be looking at around 24, 25 hands from my play since my last video. There's going to be all kinds of weird and wonderful hands in here. As you can see, we're starting this one with the Jack 3 suited. As I continue my mass data analysis adventure where I put my faith in what I think I've learned from mass data in some relatively common spots, and I'm doing things quite a lot differently than I used to do. My pre-flop ranges haven't changed very much. I'm still kind of pretty nitty, pretty tight pre-flop. But post-flop, hopefully I'm finding a little bit more aggression and a little bit more discipline with the calling ranges when facing bets of certain sizes. Like not overfolding versus small bets, overfolding versus larger bets, etc. It's really quite a simple strategy I've put in place. I'm hoping it's significantly upgraded my autopilot game, but I guess time will tell. Let's get stuck into the hands now, because we've got quite a few to get through. Please, if you haven't already, please hit the like button. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed. Hit the notification bell thing, and leave a comment below. Hopefully there's enough hands, interesting hands in this where you might feel inspired, leave a comment. But if none of the hands make you inspired to feel a comment, just type LOL or fat dickhead or something. Just type a comment, just engage, and I'll be delighted. Thank you. Let's get stuck in. We open the Jack 3 suited on the button, which is definitely too light, but we have two fish in the blind, so it's not going to matter that much, I don't think. Call fold, flop ourselves a whole bunch of equity, check. I think 3 Broadway boards, probably not going to overbet. If this was 2 Broadways and a brick, but with spades, I'd probably overbet here. But 3 Broadways, probably more likely to go with my 70% size. So I'm expecting to see 70% here. Some checking too. This guy doesn't really overfold. There's his fold versus bet stats down the street. Small sample, but he's not a big overfolder. But still, I think we have enough equity to just bet this hand. See what we do. He calls. Turn the second nuts, and we've got a lot of money to cram into this pot. Check. I have 70% pot and then overbet. Big chunk of me wants to overbet here, but this guy calls too often on flops, so he's probably getting to the turn with a range that isn't doing. If he's like calling the flop with, I don't know, fucky pocket sevens, he's just gonna fold that. Trying to think of like hands he can get to this turn with it still call that didn't raise the flop. He's gonna have a bunch of ace X, I imagine, like just crappy ace X. But I'm worried that if we bet too big, we'll just start making him fold his king X and queen X. But we probably shouldn't worry about that too much because we just want to stack somewhere near the top of his range, don't we? So probably, I think I'd like to see myself go over a bit here. What would 2E be here? We bet 20. He calls. That's 54 in the middle and 78 left. Maybe just slightly over 20. Maybe like 21, 22 bigs. Maybe 1.5 pots, maybe. No, Reg. No, Reg. Not that. Doesn't matter. I'm here to go null anyway. Obviously, we're snapping him off. And, well, yes. Quite remarkable. Apologies about that sneeze. I don't think that mute button's working on my microphone, so I didn't bother even trying to mute. But normally my sneezes are a lot louder than that, so I have spared you somewhat. 7-6 of spades. Opening into a tight regulars big blind. A call. Flop ourselves a good shot. I think this is probably not the worst spot to triple up. I think that ace X goes call, fold quite a lot. Although this player does tend to overfold flops and then station down by the look of these stats. Like he's overfolding flops, but then after his call flop, maybe he's less inclined to fold. So maybe against this player in particular, that's not the best of strategies. But I think in general here we can go bet, and just get ace X going call, fold quite often. We could also just check. and guarantee ourselves to see at least one more card. Either check calling or it just goes check, check. Did go with check. Villain bets our pot. We have an easy call, but just obviously not folding. Turn 9. Oh dear me, that was a big one. We check again. He bets half pot again. Am I convinced by this? I mean, this guy's pretty tight. Pretty low, relatively low betting frequencies. How often is he folding? It's irrelevant. Sample size. I think we can start folding here with just a good shot. Yeah, I don't like call here. We either get out of line and try raising, which I don't think makes an awful lot of sense, to be honest. I don't know what to make of this size. Like in my mass data thingy, like 50% or less, we just don't fold to with our value because we assume there's quite a lot of weak hands in that range and like bigger bets we fold to. But it's exactly half pot, and we're at a position versus a tight play. I think probably just about fold. Don't think I like raise at all. Maybe we could just call because we just have a draw to a nuts. Maybe we have to call because we have a nut draw. I went with a check raise. I guess I'm just an unbeliever on size. I guess I'm just not believing on his based on his size that he has a hand that wants to bet the flop and then bet the turn 9 for this size. If he flopped a straight, if he flopped 2 pairs, if he flopped a set, you would imagine he'd want to go bigger than half pot. So maybe I'm just like, well, I don't believe you based on size. I don't believe you've got a hand strong enough to call a check raise. That's obviously what I've been thinking at the time. Then we get clicked back. And then we fold. There's 6 suited, open button, big blind call, flop nothing, check. I can go 2 ways here. Check back flop and then just blind bet turn river facing checks, or overbet because it's a good board for our range and we have some backdoor equity. Don't mind which we do, I can go with either. We go with overbet this time, villain calls. Turn ourselves some equity, check. To overbet flop, do I really want to barrel this turn? I don't know, is the honest answer. If he had full stack, I think probably barrel turn and then probably get barrel river 2, just triple it off after overbetting flop. But against this stack depth, maybe we just give up here. And then if he checks a river as well, maybe our bluff reignites. Maybe. I don't think we can barrel off here. We've got SPR 2. Not a particularly scary turn card for him. Yeah, I think just checking back here, then deciding on river whether to bluff or not again. We check. 9 river. He bets 1 big blind. This looks a lot like 1 pair to me. 5x, queen x, king x. Maybe somehow he's turned to 10. I mean, we can just call and, almost never win. I don't think I like that. Obviously not folding. I think we just bluff here. Because this doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that a jack would do this. It doesn't make sense that a flush would do this. Yeah, just raise here, Reg. And if I was going to pick a size, I'd probably hit my 70% button, which would probably take our raise up to around 14 or 15 big blinds. We do go with the raise. Villain calls. Never mind, we're about to lose. And he had the 9-8, so never mind. Ace deuce. Limp, fold. Just complete, I think. Check. Flop equity. And we got this player who just look at the stats, 20. I mean, they got the reg tag of. I don't know how to fucking tag. There's not enough tags in the world to tag all the different player types. He gets the orange tag. He doesn't fucking deserve it. My orange tag typically just means, like too tight, like under bluffing sort of thing. Don't pay this cunt off. But his bet part, we're going nowhere. This player calls too. Just call, try and make your hand, I guess. I mean, we could justify a raise. We got a nut flush draw, backdoor wheel, backdoor Broadway, but I think just calling's the play. Turn the nuts. Now, interesting dilemma with bet or check. I don't expect this player to bet very often without a very, very, very strong hand. This player, who knows? So do we go for check raise here? Do we just lead? Again, I think both players have merit. I don't really care which one. I don't have a preference. This time we go with check. This guy bets full pot again. This guy calls. I think there's no slow playing anymore. It's gone like pot, call, flop, pot, call. And someone's got something here, without question. Someone's got a very strong hand. We don't want to call and then risk the river checking through. We don't want to call and risk the board pairing. And then, well, if the board pairs, I don't care. All the money's still going in. So there, show bridge. But basically, I don't want to just call here and have the river check through. So I think we have a raise. I remember this hand too. I made the fishiest looking raise sizable. I think I went to 40. Yeah, I remember this hand vividly. This, I mean, how fucking fish is this? This is like a massive, massive mega fold. Like, hello, lads. I've got the notes. Please don't fold. Please don't fold, lads. I've got the notes. I've got the notes. Please call. This is as megaphone gets, but I don't care because both players are dog shit. So I literally don't care that I'm megaphoning. If they've got strong hands, they ain't folding. We get a call. We get another call. Board pairs river, which is a little bit disappointing, but we're still all in, of course. All in. Call. So, massive pot. This guy's just got a straight. This guy's got Jack Deuce offsuit. And we dragged down a 301 big blind pot. Things you fucking love to see. Jack Deuce offsuit. Just didn't get the memo, did he? His fax machine was broken. 7-8 offsuit. Just aggro shit cunt raises. We defend the 7-8 off. I posted this hand in the Discord groups I'm in. I think it was this hand anyway. And ironically now I can't remember. Yes, I do remember it. He c-bets. We should just fold here. But the guy c-bets 89%. He barrels turn 89%. He's way out of line with his c-bets. He's doing this from a 65% open range from the small blind. So he's just massively, massively, massively out of line here. I just had a predetermined play here from the off, which is I've flopped equity with the backdoor draw. If I turn any equity whatsoever, I'm just going to attack his double barrel because this double barrel range is way out of line. Small sample, I get it. Way out of line. And I just had a predetermined plan here that I was just going to do this against this guy. And it's probably not a good idea. So we float here with the intention of raising turns that improve us equity-wise. And we get one of those. He now downsizes. He bet bigger on the flop. Now he's half potting turn. I saw that as my opportunity to pounce. And I raised. He calls. Then river is 3. He checks. And I decide to bluff this river. And I think it was pretty much universally thought of by all 3 people who commented. By the way, can I just say I'm very disappointed. I'm in several Discord groups now. I think I'm in 5 Discord groups, 3 of which, I'll be honest, I'm part of the problem. I'm just a lurker. And then 2 that I'm in. And like the lack of, like, I don't know how I'd put it. I just hand history reviewing. The lack of like enthusiasm for that is it's disappointing to me. I'm from an era where I grew up just discussing hands day in, day out, day in, day out, and no fucker wants to do it anymore. And it's really sad. I think people think I can just do this shit on my own now. I've got my GTO wizard. That'll tell me what I should do. I don't need fucking Bob from fucking Ramsbottom. I don't need his input anymore because I've got my solver to tell me what I should and shouldn't do. And it's disappointing. I'm sorry. But I'm part of the problem too because I'm in these groups and I don't push hard enough for like hand review sessions, etc. So I'm part of the problem. I think we're all just too busy. We don't have the concentration for it. We just don't want to do it as much. I don't know, but it's sad and it's a shame. But anyway, the people that did reply to this, I don't think they liked it very much because I end up like overbetting the river. And here I'm just hoping that this player finally falls ace X. Maybe they've got some like diamonds that was high card that can fold. Maybe they finally get the message to Queen X. This is just a punt. I know this. This is a punt that's like tailored specifically to this guy. And as much as anything else, it's tailored out of this fucking guy annoys me with his out of line stats, so fuck you. So there's an awfully large amount of fuck you in this spot. And I don't necessarily think it's good poker. But it worked, so go me. Pocket aces. 3-betting large versus a 95 VPIP. Don't give a fuck that this is 4.5x. Here's a 95 VPIP, and we just want to get money in the pot. All right, this one's going to be a boring one. This one's just going to be a silly one by the look of things. We're all in. All the money goes in, and we got it up against Ace King and Ace King. What a delightful spot. Go us. Dragging down the 239 big blind pot. Opening the pocket nines. Call from button. Flop ourselves a set against a person that looks a bit on the aggro side. Always checking here. And deciding whether to raise or not based on what size we see. Checks back. Now just start betting reg. Because I'm probably range checking flop, I still have Jack X I want to value bet here. I have some King X I want to value bet. Don't think we just get to go big here. I think maybe just use my 70% size or maybe even my 40% size. If I want to be truly consistent with my lines here, like I would be just range betting here. But having with him having checked back, I'd just be like probably going 40%, 40%. So I want to be consistent. That's probably what I should do with my sets too. But this guy's a moron, so maybe we just go bigger. I did decide to just go pot, and he calls river pot again, I guess. Yep, pot, and he raises river, so we're all in. Okay, I don't know why I've just called there. No idea why I've just called there. There's only 6 blinds left. Must be like a concentration because that's just all in for 6 blinds more. Yeah, if he's got like loads behind, then it's not all in, but for 6 bigs it is. This is just clearly a lack of concentration. I haven't decided not to put 6 small blinds in with a set here. It's just purely been, I've been 6 tabling, lack of concentration. That's all this is going to be. And he had the nuts, so go him. We saved 6 bigs with our not paying attention or not paying enough attention. Disable call here. Flop the nuts. Check raise, I guess. Do we check raise versus pot? Probably. Because fish, big bet, we're meant to overfold. We're overfolding because we think there's not enough weakness in this range. So if we're overfolding because we think these ranges when fish bet big are not very, are quite strong, then we should probably fast play against it. We do raise, he calls. We have SPR of 1.5 here or thereabouts. I guess we can just jam. I guess we can just bet like 1/3 and shove river. It doesn't really matter, I don't think. But I think I actually quite like jam on this brick for 1.5 pots. I go with the half pot. I'd say it doesn't really matter. He does a jam for us. We call. He had ace queen. We were always getting the money there. It's just how's it going to go in this time? Opening the aces. 2 blind donk. Fold raise. To probably like 7 bigs, something like that. I've been 3.5x raising versus these sizes lately. Make it 7. He calls. Turn break. Check. SPR 2. We can just go like just over half pot here and be fine, like 13 bigs. I put 26 in the pot. I put 47 in the pot. You'd have 34 left, yeah. Just over half pot. Or all in, Reg. I mean, whatever you want to do, mate. Me to break. It's called a raise. Whatever. I got greedy. He calls. And he had king 6. And we were always going to lose all our money there against that player. Limp, limp. Fold. Okay. That one's made it in by mistake. Raise. 3 bets. Call. Queen 6, 10. I always find these spots awkward. It's not the worst board. It's not like ace or king high. It's queen high. So they have like, you know, they're gonna defend a lot of ace X. Sometimes they queen like ace queen, king X. But are they defending like your queen 9 suited? You know, obviously defending queen jack suited. I'm less worried about the queen high flops. But like if we start betting him, our villain doesn't fuck off, then we make it more and more likely that he just has queen X. He's played relatively passive on flops. I know it's not the correct stat we're looking at, but it gives us some indication in general. But he just float bet 40%. Yeah, don't know. Genuinely don't know here. I think I probably just about prefer check. I don't really like betting small here. I think we're going to get called quite often. Then we're just like prolonging the problem like to the turn. Or maybe we bet we just get value from like pocket 7s. I just don't fucking know. I don't like these spots. Probably check call, I imagine. But kind of hope it goes check, check. And then we can just start value betting quite freely on brick turns. Check, check. Turn 3. And I think now we can just bet like. Well, I've got the 40% button, but I think in a 3-bet pot, I think I'd probably prefer like 1/3, like 8 bigs here. I wouldn't be surprised if I end up going like 9.2 if that's 40%, but I prefer 8, although it doesn't really make that much difference. Oh wow, I check again. Surprised by that. We can just start betting this turn after flop checks through. He bets big. And now we're in a bad spot because in my new MDA rules, we just don't bluff catch versus big bets. Yeah, put myself in a weird spot here. I called. Checking again. Yeah, I put myself in a very weird spot because I'm going to have to either fold here or break my own rules. Yeah, this is. I'm not saying this line is bad. It might be okay. This line might be completely fine, but it's breaking my rules. My rules here that I'm currently trying to play to, and clearly I haven't executed on this hand, would be check flop, then just block turn, block river. That's how I'd be playing this hand. For some reason, I haven't executed in this hand, and I put myself in a tough spot. And I guess I'm just going to revert to type and just station now. And I don't think it's very good. This is bad. We do call. And we were lucky that villain had this hand. But yeah, I don't like that. I mean, I've given myself basically a blueprint on how to play most common spots. And generally speaking, it's working better than what I was doing when I was trying to freestyle. It's working much better. Then I haven't followed it here. And this is just really pure execution from me. And I'm not saying that bet here is the best line in theory. It might be, it might not be. I don't know. I don't really study GTO at all. So bet like 35, like anything like 33 to 40% a year twice might not be the best line, but it's the line that my blueprint is telling me to take, and I haven't executed, and we've got away with it. So I'm disappointed with that hand, even though we won it. 8-9 suited, open. 3-bet from a whale. We have to call here. We can't fold this hand to a whale. Flop ourselves middle pair. Whale bets smallish. We're allowed to bet. We're allowed to attack these small C bets in 3-bet pots. Because I've checked this out in mass data, and this is a significantly overfolded spot where people C bet 1/3 pot out of position in a 3-bet pot as the pre-flop raiser. They overdo this. They C bet this size more than Thiele wants them to, and then when they get raised 3.5x and even 2.5x, they fold more than Thiele wants them to. So it's a spot that all player types, regs and fish, are getting wrong all the time. So we can raise here, whether I do or not, because I've got some showdown value. I don't know, but I know we can raise here. We do go with the call. Jack turn. Willem bets again. He sizes up now, but the guy's a moron. Again, I should start folding here. I don't like the way this is going. It looks like I'm going to be doing some freestyling again. Now, this guy is pretty bad. 83-27, 16% 3-bet, albeit small sample. But he's not super aggro post. He's slightly above average aggro, but not way out of line aggro. But then again, these stats are coming from a very high VPIP, so he probably is out of line. Again, here we're freestyling. We should be folding here. He's like 3-bet pre. He's double barreled. He's sized up on the turn. We don't bluff catch versus this line in general, but we do. So again, for the second hand in a row, I'm not really sticking to my script. And then we river a full house. So now there's just no folding. Because, like, yeah, if he's got a jack, he's stacking us. But if he's got, like, aces or kings or something, he's probably just going to keep betting it. He checks. I think we have just a mandatory all-in now. I'm probably not getting called very often. He's probably just got air to having taken this line. But just in case he's got queens, kings, aces that are a bit scared, we just have to go all in. Willem calls. Yeah, we got lucky. We got lucky. So that's 2 hands in a row where we've freestyled against fish and won the pot. But I'm not happy about either. Really not happy about either because I'm just not sticking to my blueprint. Limp, call, complete, check. I wonder if we flop a set here. Oh, yes, we do. And I just lead straight out. I was expecting check there. To go for check raise. I guess I've deemed that none of these players are aggressive enough post flop, but this guy looks like he's stabby. This guy looks stabby on flops. This guy isn't. Well, for some reason I've decided to donk. Telephone call. Right, anyway, back to the hand. Yeah, so we've decided to lead out here. Can't be the worst play. But I probably maybe should have at least considered check raising. I imagine I did consider check raising. I just decided leading was better. Call. Turn brings the unlikely straights with the 5-3 and the 5-8. We bet again, but we downsize a little bit. I think that's reasonable. Get raised. Fold. Folding is, of course, out of the question. It's just what's better. Is this guy just committed now? Do we just jam? Or do we call and then if he's just not bluffing though, is he? No, it's not bluffing. He just isn't bluffing. So I guess we're just all in. Oh well, I decided to get trappy, tricky, whatever. Check. He puts the problem with this line is he just like if he's raising a draw on the turn, he just gets to give up on the river when we call. I don't like this line. I think we should just jam the turn. When he makes it 50 blinds on the turn, he's never folding. I think this is unnecessarily fucking tricky. And the guy Jack 7. Maybe he'd just get away from that on the turn. I have no idea what that's all about. Maybe he does get away on the turn, although I doubt it. King 10 suited, open, defend, flop, air. Again, here I can go two ways. Check, barrel turn, equity, give up river if we break. Or we can go check, delay c-bet, barrel all turns, barrel all rivers. Or we can go bet, check when we don't improve our equity on turns, and then bluff rivers if check too. So there's 3 lines here, and I don't mind which one to take. I go with the bet this time. Villain calls. Turn to complete break. Dylan now fucking randomly probes for 1/5 pot. It's actually a donk, not a probe. I mean, I guess just call. No, Reggie. No, Reggie. He's not doing this without a full house, I wouldn't imagine. And fish aren't folding full houses. No, Reg. Just fucking no. He calls river 9. He bets 2 blinds again. I'm feeling a fucking punt in my future here. I'm going to try and make a fish fold a full house, and I don't like it. We do try and make a fish fold a full house, and we fail to make a fish fold a full house, especially that full house. Not sure how he's not jamming the river there, but Reg. Limp, ISO. Okay, let's have a tug on the vape and then decide what size to make this. No, open, min 3 bet from an absolute whopper. His range is just full of bullshit, basically. So we probably expect a lot of folds with the cold 4 bet, but we have to do it anyway. Really, we should be going around 4x out of position if we class this as a 3 bet. It's a cold 4 bet. I don't fucking know. I don't know. I don't really care if I make this 17 or if I make it fucking 23. I don't really care. I make it 18. Cold call. Okay then. Call. So now we're getting to the very standard spot of cold 4 bet multi-way. It's a very standard spot. Happens all the time. 7-4 deuce. And I guess we're just all the fuck in. We have SPI just over 1. I mean, yeah, I think we're just all in. Yeah, no one's that aggressive post flop. Call, fold. And we were up against ace deuce offsuit, which is interesting. And pocket kings that decided not to jam pre. You fucking... If you recognise yourself in this hand, you, sir, are an idiot. Pocket 8s. No reason to squeeze here. The guy's playing 39-5. Just flop a set, Reg. Presuming one's coming. Yes, it is. Check raise. Definitely check raise. What size to? We call. That puts 14 bigs in the pot. Uh, 12 to 18, something like that. One's a slight overbet, one isn't quite an overbet. 11, bit on the small side, doesn't really matter. turn spade, which is obviously not what we wanted to see. SPR here now of about 1.75, 1.8. Don't know, to be honest. It's less likely he has too many flush draws in range because he's only got a 5% pre-flop raise. So he's only really probably going to have like really strong hands here, like King X of spades, Ace X of spades. He's going to probably have a fair chunk of Ace, King, and Aces. Obviously, pocket kings, which beats us. I think we just probably continue betting and just stack off. He min raises. This is grim. I mean, we just have to be all in though, don't we? Oh, I call again. Board pairs river. And he said, now I'm all in. What is this hand? I guess it's me not wanting to check back flushes now, but he's not going to if he's got a nut flush. This entire hand is just fucking weird. He calls. And we did get there again. So we got there against a flush. We get it in on the turn. We still win the pot, but we get it in bad and our all in EV line looks bad. This way, our all in EV line looks good. But yeah, I think probably just jam the turn when he min raises. It's not like we're folding any river. I don't know. In fact, no, I do know. Just jam the fucking turn, Rich. If he's got a nut flush, good for him. Ace Queen, ISO. 3 bets. Just calling here. I think like 3 bets versus ISOs are typically a little bit stronger. This is a particularly small size, given it's gone limp and ISO. We do call. Flop nothing. He checks. He's got a very high C bet and a very high turn barrel. So this check is likely to have made me a bit suspicious. But I wouldn't be surprised if I still bet anyway, just attacking what might be a very capped range. I did decide to check back. Turn 5. Villain now bets tiny. Probably just calling, although I suspect there might be some like slightly better hands in here. I don't know what it might be, like under pairs to the 10 that he's decided to 3 bet. Ace King. But I think we just call. We just no reason to raise here. We're just getting ridiculously good odds. So I do decide to raise, which again I don't hate versus this size. Like a delayed tiny C bet can't be the worst hand to just like bluff everything against. I suppose against a fish. He calls. We river an ace. He checks, and now we just go value hunting. And I think I like my 70% size here, so whatever that would be, 35 bigs. What edge? What? I can only imagine I've seen something in this player that makes me think this might induce. I can only imagine I've seen something at the table because this is not something I would typically do. When I do this, it's always to induce. I know myself well enough to know this is always to induce or hoping to induce. We do get the raise, we call. And that's just weird from him. Yeah, that's why I bet down the river. I've clearly seen something in this guy that makes me think that he might punt versus that. And he did, but how we ever saw a river there is beyond me. It's queen suited. These are the hand start from last night. Yeah, I remember. I'm going to remember all these hands pretty well. This was a misclick. I thought, for some reason, I thought this guy had limped, and I don't know why. So I clicked my pot button. Doesn't really matter. We only got whoppers behind, but this is not a standard open for me. It's a misclick. Min 3 bet from a 78-11, which is a bit frustrating. Call. options here. Just call or 4-bet. 4-bet folding versus the 78-11. We go with the call. I think I would have preferred 4-bet, to be completely honest. We flop the world. Bet one big blind. Call. Raise. Call. And at this point, we think we probably just have to be all in. Yeah, we're screwed behind aces. We got decent equity still, though. We got what we got. If they do have aces, we've got 9 spade outs, 2 more queen, 11 outs twice. It's like 40% equity in a pot where there's dead money in there. Well, not dead money, but we're getting more than adequately compensated. Yeah, I think we're just all in here. I don't think we have an awful lot of fold equity, but just run it, I guess. We do. He calls 2. We break out, and he did have the kings. That's just one of those hands. It's just, and once that flop comes down, we're just destined to either suck out or lose a big pot. Not too worried about that. Queen 8 suited. This guy was somewhat out of line. I think he was out of line with his ISOs, but I could be wrong. Yeah, his ISO's like 30%, which is too wide. We go after him with the 3-bet. Just, yeah, call, mate. Limp, cold call, and then call again. Flop bottom pair, check, check. Nothing to do with check here for us. Turn a straight, check. Bet half pot. I very much doubt he's bluffing. But do we just fast play our hand? King, queen, obviously can be in his range. But so can sets, so can 2 pairs, etc. Probably just fast play from here. If he's got king, queen, then good for him. He just gets all the money. But you can have like pair plus draw. You can have the same hand. He can have sets. He can have just naked flush draws. Yeah, I think just raise. Which is what we do. He calls. River break, check, all in, call. And he had that hand there. Ace 9 suited, open it up, get call, 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 fold. Flop house has a flush draw, very multi-way. Again, I can go either way here. Bet small, check. Probably wouldn't mind check raising if I thought players were more aggressive, but neither of these strike me as being too aggressive on flops. We can just check and try and realise 2, of course, multi-way. Again, it's hard to misplay this flop. Bet or check doesn't really doesn't matter. We go with check this time. Okay then. Right. So we need 46% equity to call here. We've got 2 overs, probably aren't good, but maybe they are. A flush draw. I think this is just a fold. I just don't think we're getting the right odds to call it. If our overs are good, we still only have like 15 outs, and that puts us at 60% equity. If our overs aren't good, then we've only got 9 outs, which gives us 36% plus maybe some backdoor straight draw. So maybe we've got like 40%. But then this is close actually. This is really, when you think about it, if our overs are good, we've got about 60%. With just our naked flush draw and backdoor straight draws, we've got around 40%. And then maybe the occasional time we have the best hand because he's just got a worse draw. Maybe it's just a call, but it's not making a lot of money. Maybe it is just a call, just about. I did call. We hit our ace. And yeah. But yeah, it's not an especially profitable spot. But if they can have worse draws, then obviously we're never ever ever folding. Yeah, interesting hand. Queen 5 off. Where's this one in here? Limp. I remember the hand now. I remember the hand. We fought trip 5s. Check, check. Stab. Call. Raise. 3 bets. Fold. This guy's very, very aggro post flop. He's playing 64% and he's this aggressive out of a 64% range. Just, I guess, call and let him do his thing. Check. Bet. Call again. Just let him bluff, basically. He's going to have way too many bluffs here. Check again. Bet. Don't miss the raise this time, Reg. Please don't miss it. Last time we were in this spot, we're not much behind. We just called. Lack of concentration. I don't think it's about much of a lack of concentration here, given we've got 3 of a kind and a whale. Just all in, aren't we? He calls, and here King 10. Ace 5 suited. Open. 3 bet from a very aggro whale. I remember this hand. I think I make more than one mistake in this hand. Fold, fold. This is like 4 bet bluff. In theory, I think in practice against these types of players this deep, probably just a fucking rank bad play. It's because the key thing we're saying here is we have 4 bet bluffing, but this guy doesn't have folds in him. He's a moron. Why do you want to 4 bet bluff against a moron? I think this is the first mistake I made. I think we should just call here and take some flops against a bad player. I think this is a pretty bad mistake. And theoretically, it can't be because it's on just like 4 bets at some frequency. Don't know what it is, but it is a 4 bet at some frequency against this player. I just think it's bad. And this isn't me being spoiler. I'm going to lose his hand, but this isn't me being result orientated. I just think this is bad. And I was having a bad session last night, and this is just me. This is about as tilted as I get, like, because this theoretically isn't bad, but in practice I know it probably is. And this will be me being just a little bit tilted because the session wasn't going well. Villain calls, flop, backdoor wheel, backdoor Broadway, backdoor flush draw. So we're just going to c-bet, but again, against this player, we're going to c-bet small. And what is the fucking point? The guy's a fucking moron. So we do c-bet small. He just calls. We don't turn any equity whatsoever. Probably just giving up, check folding. But he doesn't bet. River 7. Well, I can't win this pot with ace high very often. Even though we are ahead of stuff like king, queen and what have you, that might just check down and let us win. I decided bluff river. The guy only folds 11% to rivers. Although I didn't know that at the time. I might have known that. I certainly didn't check it. Fucking terrible. This is absolutely diabolical from me, in my opinion. Maybe in theory, this line is like whatever. Maybe it's not too bad. I don't know. Maybe it's terrible in theory too. But in practice, against this player, this is fucking awful. Absolutely awful. And he just jammed and we obviously folded and was like, yeah, well done, Reg, you fucking idiot. Raise. Call. This hand. Remember this hand very, very well. Versus large donk bets, we're not supposed to bluff catch, but it's the first street. We have some backdoor equity. We have top pair, and this guy is very, very aggressive with draws. I have that read on him. You can see there at the very bottom. Played turn draw aggressively 9 times. It's not just turn draws. He's just very aggressive with draws in general. He also overplays made hands, so there's no way I'm folding to this guy on this street. We call this villain up here calls. We turn an absolute heap of equity if we are behind. Dude just bets pot again. There's just no way I can fold to this guy. No way. Not a hand is strong. It's just call again. Call. He folds. River. Kind of a brick. but this is where I think I missed a trick. Because he plays draws aggressively, he has like 7-5, 7-4, 9-7, 10-7 in range. I didn't realise until after the hand how much 7x he had in range, because now he goes all in, and I was just like, well, you know, I was just thinking of stuff that's missed. But like, yes, so much 7x in his straight draw range. Nearly all his straight draws contain a 7, if not all of them. But I just got it in my head that I wasn't folding to this guy. Look, he's got like 46% bet river percentage out of this range. That's very aggressive, and he's got only won 39% of the times. This guy's way over bluffing every street, and I was like, I just can't fold to this guy. But I didn't really account for the amount of 7x in his range, and he did have one of those 7s this time. That one annoyed me a little bit, to be honest with you, because I've just lost a full stack with a really weak top pair, which we're not supposed to be doing these days. Pocket 10s, limp, big ISO, fold, limp min 3-bet from the button. We all know what this hand is. We all know what it is now. You know, every single man and his dog knows this is probably 90% of the time aces, 10% of the time bullshit. That's what's going on here. We call, obviously, try to set mine. Check. Bet over half pot. So this is aces. But we have an overpair. But this is aces. Call. Turn break. Check. Half pot. This is aces. This is just aces all day. Maybe kings. But it's just one thing it fucking isn't is a bluff. That's what it isn't. Fold your hand, Reg. No. Pissed off, tilted, steamy Reg because he's having a shitty session. Goes all in like a fucking idiot. This is just so bad from me. Last night was a bad session. It's so bad from me. But it's like such a good week, playing really well. And last night the wheels just fell off. This is so fucking terrible from me. He obviously calls because he's got aces. And yeah, he had aces. Next hand, King Jack of suit. Same play from the last hand. He limps. We ISO. He calls this time, so he doesn't have aces. Flop, check. Probably range bet or check. Don't mind which. Check. Turn 6. We should probably bet now. If I'm sticking to my blueprint, this should just be bet now, and that's all there is to it. We do bet. He calls, and stick to the game plan. Bet river against these players. They can just get to this river with all kinds of. And yeah, of course, we don't like the fact the four's paid. We don't like the fact it's a heart. We don't like the fact he's not folding an ace. But my blueprint is just versus these checks, just double barrel in position because it's a like pretty overfolded node. So that's what we do. And sadly, we get called. So the session was just really, really annoying. Only he called with the king 9. Like we were just value betting. We were bluffing, but we ended up value betting. That was just like, okay then. That was a brief moment of levity in what was generally a pretty depressing session. And this is the last hand of the evening. And I suspect it's not going to be a good one because I remember ending the session shortly after in a fit of rage. This is not an ISO, and I'm about to ISO it. This is probably not terrible because we've got 2 limpers. This is as tilted as Reg gets. I don't really tilt very much anymore. But clearly I tilted a little bit last night. Call. Just a bad ISO. We flop equity. Check. Bet big. Right, well, I've got equity. I'm fucking stuck. I wasn't stuck loads. I was maybe stuck 3 buy-ins, which is fucking nothing, of course, but I'm a fucking big baby sometimes, so I'd probably just go all in here. Yeah, oh yeah, we're all in. I mean, how bad can it be? It's a multi-way pot, you know, we flopped equity. Not some moron donking into us. Yeah, I mean, again, we can't hate this play. I mean, the hands we've lost that recently, the 9-8 hand, going back to that, there was reasons for doing that were like justifiable. The 10s versus aces was just fucking horrible from me. Fish turned his hand face up and we paid the cunt off. That was horrible. This, you could justify it because of the equity we've flopped, but it's still fucking horrible, in my opinion. And this isn't me being result orientated. I just think we have very little fold equity here. And, we could be in really rough shape. If your man's got like a set or a flush draw, we're in really rough shape. If you just got top pair, we're not in great shape. And then this cunt calls and you just know you're stone dead. The minute this fucker calls, you are dead. Just dead. And then this fucker comes along as well. So there's a massive pot going on, and we've got 6 high. Not ideal. Turn gives us some more hope with the picking up the extra equity with the offsuit 3 now that gives us the nuts. And then he bricks out, and we're obviously going to lose his pot. 2. I mean, white ace 4's donking big and calling off 4 there versus 2 all-ins is literally beyond me. I mean, he's played it worse than I fucking played it, even though he did have the best hand. Yeah, just a mess. It's just a mess. And my new blueprint doesn't really encourage me to get it in with 6 high. I went off the rails last night, basically. Had a really good week. And then I went off the rails. Get rid of that, because that's just the graph from the hands that are marked here. Do we like do this and do this? As you can see, like, I don't know when the session started exactly, but I think it was around here. I think it was like a 1,000-hand session. We got off to a bad start from the off. Then we did a regrind, and then the wheels just fell off at the fucking end. But look how that red line just fucking dropped. So definitely last night was the worst session I played all week by a significant margin. I deserved to lose. You can see the hands I played. I deserved to lose. I deserved to lose what I lost. But overall, we really can't grumble. This is all our hands played since the last video I made. And we had a good week. We played 7,000 hands, which is dog shit volume-wise. But we made 17 buy-ins. So really not going to complain. Very disappointed with last night's session. I just didn't execute at all well on my strategy. Really bad. But overall, good week. Really can't complain. Volume was down because I played live Monday in the pub. Then I played Tuesday, Wednesday, relatively normalish sessions. Played Thursday as well. And Friday, then the sessions aren't in here. I decided I was going to do some fucking... I just decided for some random reason that I wanted to test my new blueprint in the Russian cash games. And it didn't work out too well. I didn't lose a fortune, but I spent way too fucking many hours doing it. I did the same Saturday afternoon. I did the same. So Saturday morning and a bit of the afternoon, just played Russian cash again. It just didn't go well. Saturday night, I decided I couldn't be asked playing online poker, so I went out to play live in the pub. Won a small tournament for, I think I made 230 quid profit. I think it was 30 quid buy-in, and I think it come on with 260 quid. So that was nice. And then yesterday I played one session, and it was, not the best of sessions. We had like an 80 euro loss, something like that. So, yeah, tailed off towards the end of the week. We got off to a really strong start. Then I just decided to abandon what I was doing and go and play Russian cash and do whatever. And I just lost focus, basically, and didn't end the week strong. This week we're straight back on the horse. We're getting back to doing what we did last week when we were doing this. Not expecting the same win rate, of course, because it's just unsustainable long term, but sticking to the blueprint. And hopefully that'll bring us some more hands to interesting hands to bring to next week's video. There won't be any more of the Russian cash videos, even though they did okay on views. I just don't want the distraction. I'm just not doing it. I've got some money on GG. Don't know what I'm going to do with it. I'll probably leave it there and just do nothing. Just let it fucking sit there and stagnate. Because maybe once in a blue moon, I might just decide one morning that I just want to do like a live play speed poker video or whatever. So I'll keep it there because it's hard to get money on there, but I'm not intending to do very much with it. But there we go. That's the end of the video. A nice round hour. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And we'll catch you probably sometime next week, but who knows, maybe this week with another video. Take care, everybody, and bye-bye for now.